Think we're live. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. I hope you have beautiful weekends. I want to pull cards because that's usually how I get started. It gives me a chance to check in and see how this community is doing. How's everyone feeling right now? We're talking about authenticity today. I already recorded my the new moon in Scorpio video. It's like grown up or grow up. It's on the 1st of November, so that's the next moon cycle that's coming up. And it's a fascinating energy that we're in right now. Just checking in how everyone's doing. Oh, good. Okay, you can hear me. Awesome. 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 Pull cards to start to see if authenticity is. On first cup, good morning. Good morning. This is not my first cup today. Not my first cup. I think this popped out, but I'm gonna let it slide again. Good morning. Good morning in Seattle. I don't know about all of you, but sleep has been really off. Dreams have been really, it's quantum. I talked about it in the new moon video that I just recorded. Dreams have been absolutely terrifying. Like I've been having nightmares the past 2 nights, which is not very common for me. Yeah, I'd say very like once a year, once every few years, I have a nightmare, and the past few nights I've had nightmares that like wake me up with a start, and then I can't get back to bed. So I was up around, let's see, these are good ones. They're good ones. I'm gonna keep these out and talk about them. And I was up, I'd say from like 11 to 12, 12:30, kind of floundered and pretended. And then 1 to 2-ish, I got up, I made a cup of tea. At first, I tried with just some sleepy time tea, and I tried to fall asleep, but it just wasn't happening, so I got up, I wrote a little bit, and then finally attempted to go back to bed, went back to bed until 6-ish, went for my walk in the woods. I did something this morning that I haven't done in a very long time because I do my meditations every morning and ground and bubble myself, and I do all of the, Sarah's pro. It's so weird that it's backwards. I'm still getting getting used to this. Doing all of Sarah's protocol type things, and I got up, and I'm still learning about, my energy type. I'm a projector in human design. So one of the things, I'm a splenic projector. So it's like the second that I know to do something, it's like, go right, go left, coffee, decaf, this. It's very present. It brings me back to presence. And so sometimes when I'm walking around the house, like where I, set up to pull cards, or where I drink coffee, am I sitting in the living room? Am I sitting in the kitchen? Like where am I sitting? And sitting on the couch just had this like shine to it. And I was like, no, I'm going to go this way. And, I use the term God brazenly. And so if you can replace that with universe, source, spirit, God, goddess, all there is, whatever you'd like to label it as is just kind of all that it is. But just I like the efficiency of the word God. It's short. And so God just kept being like, no, just go sit on the couch and dream your best day into existence. Like what's the most magical thing that could happen today? And use that beautiful projector daydream and just say, "What's the coolest thing that could happen today? Like, what's the coolest thing that could happen?" My brain, is I don't know about you, but sometimes I can play the worst case scenario. This is how my best self would handle it. This is, how am I going to navigate this? How am I going to do this? But what if I just got to like vibe? Like, what would be the coolest thing to happen? What would be the coolest thing that could come up today? And so I did. I sat and I meditated. Oh, the blue sky. It's skies are wonderful. Is Seattle, is it very like is it super cloud covered at all time over there? Like what's the ratio of like blue skies to not so blue skies? Like what does that look like? Because it's in Massachusetts, I almost said Australia. In Massachusetts, it's like we're gonna have some nice weather the next few days. I've heard. I've heard. I have windows open and it's just so lovely. It's just so lovely. So I'm going to show these cards and then I'm going to pull another round. So these were the ones that I pulled that popped out right away, you know. Morning, have a marine layer that will burn off. Have a marine layer that will burn off. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's beautiful. There's some, again, there's some stuckness that for some reason that I'm feeling with these cards. I think it's that. I mean, this card I talk about in my Tarot Essentials, it can be perceived in so many different ways where some people perceive it as like he's hoarding and he's like, I have to stay with my precious and stay safe. But some people say like he's protected. He's divinely protected. So I like that. I like that. It just feels weird out there right now. It feels as though that was my intention for today. To go back to, we're going to keep it out. We're just going to keep it out. I'm just going to keep it out and just see. Okay, I'm going to keep that. All righty. I'm going to get to a major, Kiana. I just want a major. Okay. Yeah. And she's reversed. Okay. 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 I think this came up last time. I always pull, if my intention is to pull like one or two cards, then I'll just pull to get to a major arcana. And then sometimes I'll pull to get to an upright major arcana. But for today, both of them were reversed. So we're just going to go with it. How are we feeling? If we knew that we couldn't mess it up, how would we act today? If we knew that things were shifting and changing so quickly, how would we act today? If we knew that our highest and greatest good couldn't be taken from us, if we released any and all fear, how would we act? I feel as though sometimes, the phrase, because our words are so powerful, so sometimes it's like, I want to be the best version of myself can be a very dangerous game. Whereas I really respect and appreciate and use the word authenticity. What would the most authentic me do right now? What's the most authentic me to do? Like what for the, my highest timeline, for my greatest timeline, what's the most authentic path for me to get to that goal of my greatest good? Because what's meant for me can't be taken from me. What is best for you can't be taken from you. Your wins don't take away from me. Mine don't take from you. It's not like there's a finite amount of anything on this planet. It's infinite. It's infinite. Again, it's bad. So like, it's so weird. So it's infinite. It's really infinite. And so I was chatting with a friend the other day. She's like, "How you doing?" I was like, "I will oscillate in 1 minute's time, same time. We're still in Libra season, I think. I wrote down the planets for today. What is happening? I don't even think I wrote down the planets yet this morning. Yeah, we're still in Libra season. Hello, darling. Hello. So happy you're here. So happy you're here. Welcome. Coffee, tea, water. What are you drinking? What are you having? I have my water over here as well. I go to pick up water in a spring in Linfield. My gosh, please, girl, you're fine. Don't ever worry or apologize in any capacity. You're right on time. Very Gandalf of you. What is it? A wizard is never late or early. He arrives precisely when he intends to. And that's okay. That's okay. Just go back for my walk, windy AF. Dude, it's I love when Mother Nature takes over. How am I? I'm doing really well today. Thank you. This is the card that kept popping up. It popped up twice, and we're talking about authenticity in an ever-changing world. We are talking about rebranding best to what is of my highest timeline. What is the highest and greatest good? The declaration that I use is like, especially when I pull cards, my intention is to receive, the most accessible information for the highest and greatest good of all involved and invested with absolutely no harm coming to any. Can we talk about last week for a sec? Do you have any specific questions? Absolutely. Ask away. Ask away. I feel as though when you're called to ask questions, and this happens for other channelers, for other people, is that it might be something that other people that are watching are keen to ask questions about, or that, if you ask a question in a public forum, it's usually something that everybody in the group could benefit from. And there's so much to speak to about last week. What is today? The 21st? That full moon. So right after the full moon, my ex's mom reached out to me with unsolicited updates, really upsetting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. It's very, very aligned, very, very aligned. And this is when it comes to Aries energy, when it comes to the astrology, when it comes to, I find so much Libra crap come up, like people pleasing, or do I have to respond? When it comes to anyone, this is the knowing just this information. When it comes to anyone in your life, I go to the end and then I make my way back. Is this something like I don't want any of that? Huge question. Beautiful. Is this someone that you have to keep in your life? Is this someone that you see within your community, your peripherals, not so much your ex, but the mom of? Is this someone that you work with, or you see at the grocery store, or any of those things? And then ask yourself, and this could be for any relationship, do I want that person in my life? Yes or no? Answer is yes. They say, okay, I'm going to not react to this. I'm going to respond. I'm going to find the best way to say, hey, thank you for reaching out, but I don't really need this information. This is very much like I wish everyone on the planet well, but I really don't need to know what's going on with this person. Saturn is in my 11th house and Uranus is on my ascendant. I have been cutting so many people off. And that's huge, because it's a no for someone else is a yes for the right person, for both of you. This moment could be, and you can, after you decide, like, do I want this person in my life? Yes or no? Do I want to It's kind of like the choose your own adventure. Yes or no? Okay, we've decided. Do I want this person in my life, or I don't want this person in my life? That's the foundation. And then you just move back from there. That's huge. I finally told her that the relationship was very painful for me. She never responded. That might be all that you have to do. And that might be saying, and this is the tough part, this is saying, like, I'm so grateful that I got triggered by this moment. But sometimes when people don't have this language of speaking from I statements, or maybe that person without judgment and without knowing the rest of the information, saying, like, they might not have entertained when I spoke and said things in a nice way. That might just be the only way that she could have received that, which doesn't make it less painful for you. I would give yourself some grace this week and really know that when that does happen, especially with those big placements that are going on, it's saying, okay, there was this energy. Just realized how many times I've banned myself in the past. Never again. Much wisdom. Dude, that's huge. There's so much education that you've taken from that. It's kind of like when there's this big, explosion, and there's this big moment, there's gold tucked in there. And that really is what you're doing right now, is like, and that's something that we talk about for the week between full moons and the new moons. Oh my God, what's the program? It's called, like, How to Follow the Moon, or How to Work with the Moon. It's a digital product of mine, but it's the week between full moons and new moons. It's like, what is the gold? What gold nuggets are tucked in there? What is the lessons that I've learned? And something that, and girl, like, I am like misprocess. Don't get me wrong. I am misprocess, but right now we're processing things so efficiently that I feel like once you declare this is never happening again, I have a very difficult time processing emotions. I'm sure everyone does. That person, it'll take me out for like 3 days. Be kind to yourself. And that's authenticity. Dude, that's authenticity. There was maybe a younger version of you that would have taken a month. So that's okay. You knew in that moment. It's also to debrief with you right now. You knew in that moment, I could have reacted this way. I could have said this. I could have said this. I wanted to say this, but you didn't. But you didn't. Yeah, we're celebrating you. We're all really celebrating you. And this is a wonderful experience to say, okay, now I know what this feels like. I know when my gut is going off. I know how I feel in my head. I know when I get frustrated. I know all these things. And that's a huge deal. That's a huge deal, what you went through. And so it's finding gratitude, saying, thank you so much to this person for showing me how far I've grown, how, I had this trigger that now I understand how it comes. Now I understand. And, we can talk about that more towards the new moon or as you go through the lunar cycles throughout the month, when you're manifesting on the new moon to say, I really am ready for a partner and the family of the partner that honors my boundaries, that has emotional grounding and maturity. They speak from my statements. I think so too. Three little birds, and everything's going to be all right. Everything's working itself out. It can be so intense, and finding those words that say it's not positive, it's not negative, it's intense, it's so big what you're experiencing. But you have spaces like this where you get to process and you get to say, okay, this is how I did. It's those three questions. I don't know if you've heard me say it before, but it's usually every Sunday or every, cycle, whatever it is that you're going through. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're so safe to share here. This is a beautiful space. But those three questions, and you can ask yourself these three questions later on, once you're like, feel the feelings, give yourself those 3 days. But what did I do well? What did I not do so well? Or what can I improve upon? And what is fully integrated? I ask myself that question every Sunday when I'm really just chatting with the universe and chatting with source, God, whatever label you have. And that's a really great way that you can say, okay, this was a more emotionally powerful, intense conversation. What did I do well? What could I improve upon? And what is fully integrated? You did not react. You responded and you did so beautifully. You didn't overshare. You didn't in that moment. You can share here as much as you want to. I do as much as you want to here. But knowing that a friend of mine reminded me of this the other day. Authenticity is screaming at me with Uranus on my ascendant. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. And Uranus, it doesn't have a time period to it. And what I love about Uranus transits is that it's, the lightning bolt energy. It's yesterday, never, 20 years from now, tomorrow, who knows? You don't really. But what I love about those transits is that once it is integrated, it's just you are that new you. You are that new version of yourself, or the most authentic version of yourself. You're the one that says, this is who I am. And the more authentic you are, that will attract the right people that are meant to sit at your table. And it will show that Taurus ascendant, that very like gut feeling, this is right, this is wrong. I'm celebrating you. I'm celebrating you. There's so much to the pivot. And I don't know, I used to watch, was born in 87. So I grew up with the show Friends, and it's very visceral. It's the Taurus way. It's fixed negative earth energy. It is so in the body, so in the body. And it's like Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, Taurus is the second. So I always make the joke, like Aries is the infant baby ram, where Taurus is like right next to you. You have to experience it. You have to do the thing. Whereas Gemini, the next sign, is more intellect. Dude, the pivot. It's about the pivot. Every time I'm saying it, I just am screaming in the irrationality of Ross and it's petty. It's just, there's so much to say. There's so much to say. It's beautiful. So I want us going into the next, it's so good. It's just so good. Going into what you're experiencing, what we're each individually experiencing. So I want everyone that's watching, everyone that comes back to this, to really take this moment to say, okay, whatever's coming up for me in my brain as I'm hearing, me talk, as we're processing together, like what's coming up for me? What feels most authentic? And where is this like question or this ringing? And I make the joke, like we can't soapbox our awakening and be like, I'm the new me and I'm authentic and I'm this and this is what I believe and this is what I want. Because literally the next day is probably going to be another version of yourself. And so there's so much shifting. And there's a conversation that I had that's popping into my brain that I want to share with everyone, where it was subscriber that, we email back and forth, and they were saying like, I'll, apply for a job, and then I will have this desire to do something. And then I'll kind of like walk a little bit down the path. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. Very Aries energy, very Aries. We have a lot of, things on the stove, and then we're like, I'm finished with this. I've, signed up for all these things, but I don't want to do it anymore. And that's totally fine. It might be in a very quantum way, we're going to go quantum, that everything that you really needed to receive from that timeline, by setting the intention and by focusing on that timeline, you might have received everything that you needed to receive, and you don't have to go through the 3D of it all. You don't have to experience the hands-on topical, okay, I'm going to do this or get the job or have that relationship or do the thing. Like maybe there was a timeline where you went to lunch with that woman, with the mother of your ex, and you explained to her what was going on, all these different things, but you just spoke your authentic truth, and you're like, that's it. And that's all I have to do. And that's all that I'm really going to entertain with that. That's all I'm going to entertain with that. I think that for myself personally, the full moon was falling in my 6th house of daily life and health and practical service. And there's so much that I've been shifting and, offering and doing and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I'm offering all these different things and everything's great and everything's wonderful. When something's meant to be integrated, it's as effortless as breathing. Like creating, like starting to do lives as effortless as breathing. The right people showed up at the right time. Everybody was able to just come together, doing it at 11, making sure that, my West Coast people, everyone can show it. Like it just was literally as effortless as breathing. I think I've shared with everyone that, I was really floundering with my exercises. So I had my chiropractor program for me. I've known him for many years. He knows my body type. As effortlessly as breathing, working those days into like working those hours of going to the gym and having that experience, as effortless as breathing. There's also on the opposite end of that spectrum, the things that I know that I need to work on that better develop me, like speaking Italian every single day, working towards that, planning a trip to Italy. I've been talking about it's so quantum. Like I already recorded my new moon and Scorpio video, but I haven't posted it yet, but stuff that I've talked about there, I'm talking about right now. Whereas God downloaded for me in 2025, a lot of travel, a lot of travel. And so my intention is to be able to offer as many things as I can that serve my highest timeline, that serve your highest timeline, but that I can do from anywhere. And to give myself the time, location, and financial freedom to be able to connect to people all over the world. I want to meet a lot of you in person, and that's really special. And I want to be able to offer that to the best of my ability. But what I found, and this has to do with the Jupiter transit, that, Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini right now. It's completely in perfect opposition to my natal Saturn. It's in my 2nd and my 8th house. It's been fun. It's been really fun. I have a very overstuffed 2nd and 8th house in my natal chart. And so what I'm recognizing is that certain things that I had been offering and kind of very Aries conjunct Aries sun conjunct Jupiter. So Jupiter kind of is one of my, I don't even know the right word to say. Like it's a chart ruler in a weird way. Like it's just kind of snuck itself in there with that conjunction. And so I'm more affected by Jupiter transits than maybe someone else is, or I don't think of it in my big 3. It's very interesting reality. But I know that my irrationality and my intention to offer as much as I can to everyone, that's a beautiful thing. But I wasn't, giving myself the time and the space away. And, I would get really anxious if I wasn't, responding to all of the comments right away and doing the things and doing that, where my focus now is to really do what is best for the community as a whole, do what is best for me as well, honor my time with myself, and know that the right time of response is the right time. It's the right time. And it's a part of this, very quick internet society, Jupiterian service and the primal Aries fashion. Dude. I even forget that I have a natal Jupiter because it's conjunct my sun. And I don't think, oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that little thing. Look at that. Look at that. So, one of the biggest shifts that I'll give the full example. So, the sun right now is transiting my 12th house. And so usually what I do when the sun transits over my ascendant sign, I take some time for myself and I pull away. It's like my, all of our personal New Year's, and I celebrate and I just go inward and I just go inward. And I notice that, intuitive listening, offering that I've been talking about for months now, the day that I said I was going to do the live or the Zoom is like over the time that I had taken off to be with myself. And so I really sat with God yesterday. I really, really, really sat with God. And the exactitude of the Jupiter on my natal Saturn was yesterday as well. So I really sat with it. And I said, okay, if I stuck in my ego, I was very Libra about it. Look at both sides of the scale. If I was very stuck in my ego, I would say, you're going to do it and you're going to do this one time and you're going to suffer through it and you're just going to do the thing. And it's just not going to feel great, but you're just going to do it because you said you were going to do it. And the other side was like, or you record something, charge less money, make it more accessible for people. They could watch it at any time. You both honor financial time and, location freedom. People can always email if they have questions. Everybody wins, Sarah. Maybe it's okay to not do the Aries thing and do the fly parable. And again, I talk about this already in the Scorpio season introductory, or no, Scorpio New Moon video. It's a Lewis Howes thing from the School of Greatness. And that was the event that I went to in September, was the Summit of Greatness. So definitely go check out Lewis Howes, the School of Greatness. And he speaks about the, parable of the fly. Like, have you ever seen a fly that's like about to die, flying straight into a window pane? And you're like, the window's open, the door's open. You could just like go this way. And there's like a whole, like just like the razor's edge, you could just go over there. But it's so Aries. It's like just going straight on into that window pane, straight on into it. And when you can see it from from stepping back, you're like, what is wrong with this? What is wrong with this fly? So I don't want to act like the fly. I don't want to act that way. I'm changing alongside of you. I, feel, how do I say? I know what it is that I can offer and I know what I can't offer. I also know that I can't give from an empty cup, an empty bucket. And that's me just surrendering to the current and taking a pivot and recognizing that if something feels a little bit like, I've talked about this before, my face does this. And I'm like, that's probably not the right thing to do. That doesn't look like a resounding yes. That doesn't look like a full body chill, Sarah. If you're like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And understanding that. So the intuitive listening will be, haha, totally get that. What do you think about Sun square Pluto tomorrow? I think we're going into, great question. I think we're going into some very intense time as far as the astrology goes, where it's very polarizing energy. I mean, Sun square Pluto, and then next week, looking at the day, around the 3rd of November, we have Mars in opposition of Pluto. There's so much really, yeah, the Mars opposition of Pluto, exactly. There's so much happening right now that we can use for good or evil. You could use it for positive growth and understanding. You could let it be ego. You could let it be either thing. You could really let it be either thing. I find that just looking at the because it comes into exactitude at 29 degrees of Libra to 29 degrees of Capricorn. So it's that cardinality. It's very the anaretic degree. We'll look at it as lenses for people that maybe, don't have the full astrology language. So it's an astrological soup. Dude, it's wild. It is so wild. That's exactly the right way to put it. Whereas the lens of, cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, this first, cardinal, going first, wanting to do something first, wanting to create something first, being a leader in many capacities. Those four signs, they've been going through intense shifts and changes since 2008. Everybody has this in their chart, but the big three of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn have really been in it, And so I want to honor that for them and know that we're so close to the end of this transit. It's like, don't pop off now. Don't go to the negative side of things just because we're exhausted and just because we've gone through so much. It can't be. There's so many different things. It's like we're learning how to not label our trauma on our lapel and be like, I've been going through this transit since this time, so I can be a son of a nutcracker. It's like, no, you actually can't. You're a person, you're a human being, just like everybody else. We have to treat everyone with the same reverence. Everyone. We're all human beings. We're all human beings. And so I feel as though with this square coming up, and I live in the United States, so I can speak to this. And I know a lot of us live in the United States where it's like that square is that, going to an intersection. Somebody's got to move before the other can go. But that intensity is also how diamonds are made. It's also how we can really like shine in a new way and learn a new. I don't know if you've ever done yoga or if you're exercise, if you're on a hike where it's like, or a runner where it's like after a mile, you're like, oh, it's kicking in. And you're holding a yoga pose and you're like, I want to scream. You don't scream, you just hold it. You let that intensity birth. So my ex has a Cancer rising. Isn't it funny that the Libra energy is in his fourth house, which is like family, mom, and then seventh house and Cap partner, literally. His mom reached out to an ex-partner. It's when you have this language, it is validates everything, dude. It validates literally everything. And so I love the astrology because it's the map, like I said last week, but it's also like the why. This is exactly what's happening. It's just math, history, and patterns, and we're mostly water. So we're run by the cycles of these planets. We know that we are conscious as having this human experience. So the human's going to human. The human's going to be like, I'm getting activated by these planets. But if we float above it and we say, okay, I'm aware that my human is getting activated by the planets. And I'm aware that my human wants to pop off. I'm not going to let my human pop off. I'm just not. I'm going to let my human, cry to a good movie or, just have a snack or go to the gym or go for a walk. But I'm not going to, in the same way that when you're in yoga and you're holding a yoga pose and you want to scream, you just do lion's breath. You don't scream. Exactly. Observe. And, a great astrologer, Pam Gregory, she's so incredible. She speaks to go to your ego's perch, darling. And she's like, just watch the movie of your life from above. It's powerful what's happening. And we're living through the written times, the scripted times, for like 2 nights in a row, I just laid there, let my heart pound with exactly. It doesn't discredit the pain that the human is experiencing, but it says, I'm feeling this. I'm going to let my body feel this, but I'm going to choose a different avenue. I'm going to choose a different way. I'm not going to react. I'm going to transmute that reaction into a response. And that's what I had been saying before. In this ever-changing technological world, we think we have to answer every email right away. We have to do this right away. We have to do this right away. We have to do this right away. Whereas what if our response time is actually the perfect time? What if, you'd said, I'm so sorry I'm late. What if you arrived right at the perfect time? And that's okay. And if we started to lead with that, if I'm ever, what my human will want to do, responding to emails, responding to comments, responding to, if it's an extended period of time, I used to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Now I just say, thank you so much for your patience with me. Lead with gratitude. Thank you so much for understanding that I'm trying my best. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Starting with thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. Literally just saying thank you as often as you possibly can. It's funny, my shaman, we're processing some deep crap on the table. This was a few sessions ago. And she's like, you know, you don't have to thank me for every single thing. And I was like, I just don't know how to not lead with gratitude. She's like, you could actually just share right now. That's okay, girl. You just be like, you paid for the session, so you can take up as much space as you need to. You don't have to preface. You can just go in. I know you're grateful. It's funny. I love her. Love her. I'm such an experiential hands-on learner, and it's just lovely to be able to have someone that holds space. And every healer needs a healer, every leader needs a leader, every shaman needs a shaman, every light worker, everyone needs someone to, I'll use the term mentor for lack of a better term, but someone that you've allowed to say something that you understand and that you're ready. Yes, coaches need coaches. Thank you. Beautiful word. You need someone to hear, or blah, we need to be able to find someone who resonates with us. For example, with astrology, we all really do need each other. I couldn't agree more. We really do. And so the astrology, we'll just use this as a lens. I'm not, gatekeeping the astrology. You can go online, you can look and see where the planets are going to be. It's only my interpretation of it that resonates with the right people. That's it. That's literally it. It's finding the right astrologer, the right channeler, the right person that unlocks the codes within you that it makes sense to you. I had someone comment on the Q&A that I did where we were talking about, someone had asked a question about like, how do I leave family members where they are? And I answered the question. It was a little bit of a harsher, not like harsher, but it just was it's our judgments that say that they're not in the right place. Whereas they're right where they're meant to be. They're right where they're meant to be. If we were not in the perfect paradigm, we would be somewhere else. And that's a tough pill to swallow for me sometimes. Where I'm like, I should be here. I should be this. I should. It's like, nope. If you were meant to be in the paradigm of your, most authentic self, you would be in it. You are in the most authentic paradigm, Sarah. You are in the space that you're meant to be in. And so when it's coming to leaving people where they are, it's saying the people that are meant for me cannot be taken from me. We have to let people experience things in the way that they're meant to experience them. I'm an experiential hands-on learner, so I can't judge people for needing to go through the depths of their own processing in the way that makes sense to them. Yes. Leading with love is the only way. It literally is the only way. I had, and I'm going to upload the new moon video because I don't want to repeat what I said, but Archangel Michael was one of the channels that came through. And it really is, it's speaking about leading from love, but really starting with us and doing what's best for us. It's kind of like, what is it? Like, put on your air mask before you help anybody else. You can't give from an empty cup. You can't give from a less than, you can't give the cup away. Say, here's my cup. You can't do that. We have to be in a space of fullness, of emotional grounding, of emotional maturity to say, this is what is best for me. This is what I could offer. Take it or leave it. Let me see. So conscious of all the shoulding I do on myself, but definitely healing and pivoting from that. That's really awesome. I find that the second that I say should, and I'm really grateful for you saying that, because should is such a weird word. It's also a great way to understand that you're having a conversation from your human perspective with your higher self. I just got so mad at myself. You are the consciousness that's mad at the avatar. I should be doing this. That could be one or the other, saying this is the human floundering and being in their child or adolescent, and exactly, and saying like, I know I should be doing this. When I'm in alignment, there's no should. I'm just going from most aligned action to most aligned action to most aligned action, and letting that integrate and recognizing the difference between, like I was saying with authenticity stuff, What can I offer that fills me up, that fills up the bucket and the cups, myself and my community? How can I do it in the most aligned way? What is it that I'm avoiding? And what is God trying to say? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Exactly, exactly, exactly. My whole body felt me reaching out with super invasive my energy. Exactly. And that's your body, that Taurus energy. Really, like really, really. No, but that's a great example. That's a great example to say my body is saying something to me. And it's like I was saying at the beginning, I'm a splenic projector. So my body will say, go this way, go this way, go this way, go this way. And it's in the moment, it's in the present moment, and it doesn't always make sense, but I trust it. I trust it. It's like that. I've seen a meme where it's like me trusting the universe and just following the most aligned thing that God says because I'm tired of running into concrete. And it's just like with your suitcase, like walking straight into the ocean, where it's like, I don't question it. If I'm supposed to go right, I go right. If I go left, I go left. I think that what my, oh my God, I totally forget. I totally forget. I feel like it's like 5'2", maybe. I think it's 5'2". Yeah, projector, splenic projector. I'm not a master in any capacity when it comes to human design. I'm learning a lot about it. Yeah. I really think it's 5'2". I really, really think it's 5'2". If you know more about that, please share with the group and let us know what your human design is as well. It's very complex. It's very interesting. I agree with that 1000%. And it's such like an entire language in and of itself that in this moment in time, all I really have the space to educate myself on is like what I'm experiencing as a projector. And it's helped me with my exhaustion. It's helped me with my content. It's helped me understanding that I can't human in the way that others human. And that has nothing to do with my ego. It's literally my energy type. It's literally our energy type. You're a projector, right? I feel like you've said, or Mangen. I can't remember. Please remind me. I apologize. I don't remember. I want to say projector. I want to say projector. Because it's really like that has also totally. I've thought about your generator, dude. That's wild. That's wild. You have so much energy. How is that real? That's incredible. Like it's just like I have generator people that they're so cozy to be around too. Open emotional center as well. How does that feel in a day to day? How does it feel? Like, how are you balancing that? How are you feeling as though, and for anyone else that's in the chat, if you'd like to comment your human design, if this is a language that you have, tons and tons and tons of gates there. See, that's where my understanding of it completely falls short. And that's where I still like try my best to educate myself, but I again can't speak to it in a mastery way, only my opinions. I have to be very isolated to find peace. That is a huge deal, and that recognition in and of itself is a big deal. That's a really big deal. It's very much it's very projector actually, because we need to be alone. Aries sun in the 12th house. That's beautiful. That's your mastery. Actually, that's your mastery. Pisces North Node and the emotional center. This is where and there's astrology that's built into this. Oh my goodness, I do definitely I'm going to write this down because I want to be able to speak to this in more eloquent ways. Okay. It's so, and it makes so much sense. It's like the astrology is such like an accessible, like, why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? But understanding your human design is like, why is the energy, why am I experiencing things in the way I'm experiencing it? And why are people reacting to me in the way that they react to me? What's so interesting about being a projector is that I could meet every single person in my life has a different perspective of me because we don't, as projectors, those open centers, it's just they're like, or it's like it's an undefined aura. So when I walk into a room, I just literally like everybody can feel it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody can feel it. Everybody feels when a projector walks into a room. And I can feel every single person when I'm in front of someone. I know what they're going through. And it's a beautiful thing. but good head energy. Good, good, good. Projectors are interesting though. You mirror a lot. We do. So when you meet a projector, they have a penetrating aura. We're just going to come right in and you're going to be like, why are you all up in my space? And what we have to wait for the invitation. So I don't know if any of you have, how do I say? It's weird to be an influencer or content creator as a projector because like I can't explain to you or I can't, say like this is who I am, this is what I do, and blah 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 blah. You have to see it and be like, oh, I get you. I understand you. I see what's going on here. I really see what's going on here. And I have to wait for the invitation. I have to wait for someone to see that. And so understanding those things like the manifesting generator, manifester, reflector, projector. I think that's it. Yeah. Gen, manifester, reflector, projector. I think those are the only signs or energy types. And it's based on your astrology. I find projectors to be like the architect engineer. Yes, we see everything. We can tell you exactly how your processes are inefficient. We can tell you exactly what you need to fix within your life to receive everything that you need to receive in this world. It just, for myself, I find that it's so efficient and not everybody wants to go and change their life in a second. Some people are like, oh, I actually have to go through this process and do this and that. And I'm like, no, quit your job, do this, do that, leave your person. You don't want to be with them. And then your whole life will be better and you'll be great. I'll see you next time. And not everybody's ready for that, which is fine. And that's so okay. So that's part of, and I'll speak to that in the intuitive listening. Whereas that's literally it, where I'm like, this is all you have to do to change your life and everything will be fine and you'll be great. Yes. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It can be so I have to pull that back and just say, okay, this isn't about you, Sarah. Go at their pace. Go at the person's pace that you're in front of. You're at the grocery store. You don't have to tell this person all the things. And being a very intuitive person at the same time and being a channeler and all this stuff, like if you haven't contracted me, if you haven't asked me, if you haven't welcomed me in, I can't go up to you and say, hey, exactly. Meet them where they're at, where they want to be. Because again, it's such a judgment. And we came to be in these human bodies to experience ego. But when it comes to the ego, we have to say, okay, I know my ego says this is where they should be, but that's not where they are. They're right where they should be. And I can listen to them. I can hold space for them. I can let them decide for themselves what is best for them. And then they can take that knowledge and move forward and do whatever they want with it. My BFF is a projector. She helped me a lot during these rough years. That's really awesome. Sometimes just like sitting next to a projector for a generator and a projector is like, you get so much done. You just sit on your laptop and like work next to each other. And that energy just nurtures and nourishes each other. All right. I'm going to pull a few more cards. I'm going to see what Source has to say. And then we're going to close. If anyone, this has come out a few times already, I'm going to leave that there. That's the Jupiter card, I want to say. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Threes, 5. Ranger. Again, reversed. That's okay. You're allowed to. Everyone's welcome here. And I'm happy that you're. Go Jays. Go Jays. It's a beautiful thing. And I feel so everyone's welcome. We speak from I statements. And sometimes one of the biggest wins, and this is in my life, I think I mentioned this last week, is that when I can just sit and listen and just let other people talk and let other people hold space and let other people take up space, that's a huge win. So if it was going to be a different way, it would have been a different way. You're good. You're good. This is very interesting. There's a lot of people that have been going through, the star is, being in alignment, being in the limelight, I guess, for lack of a better term. This could be a timing to it. This could be, like it's coming or it's leaving. This could also speak to, what's the word? My God, I can't think of the word. Self-judgments. Like, what is the word? When you like, it starts with an I wanna say. For some reason, I just can't think of it when you're, like, embarrassed for, like, the way that you look or self-conscious maybe. I have no idea what the word is that I'm trying to think of, and you just don't feel good about yourself. There's so many people that I've seen that addictions are coming up, they're coming up to be released. A lot of people I'm noticing as well are either it's Libra season, so you're either swan diving into the addiction and you're just going full hog, or you are healing it and you are being aware of it and you're saying like, this is, body image issues. This could be so many different things. This could be, I mean, I know this is set for, I recorded the new moon, but we still have, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, Lilith and the South Node in Libra right now. We've been talking for months that people are lying as effortlessly as breathing. And so understanding that did come up in the new moon video. I'm going to post that tomorrow. I'm going to upload it today. And like I did last week, if I can't get to the timestamps of it, I will do that in due course, but I want you to have the information. This is interesting, reverse. Some books, some reference books speak to this being the same straight up as it is reversed, where we're not in control as to who turns the wheel. It might feel like, yes, we want to manifest and yes, we want to do the things. But like I had said, if my most authentic path is making sure that I'm taking care of myself, I mean, the sun only transits my ascendant sign once a year. So I don't want to miss out on that time that I get to spend processing with myself and doing and offering something that's not of the highest and greatest good of all involved and invested, because I'm a part of all involved and invested. Yeah. My coach is a reflector, and it's nuts how she sees everything, distills it into meaningful categories, and reflects it back. Thank you so much for sharing that. Their reflectors are so beautiful and so cool. They're such like the teeniest. I think it's just 1% of the population, I want to say, is a reflector. Thank you so much for sharing. That is so beautiful. And it just makes sense. They go through so many different seasons as well. And they're complete aliens of this world. It's so beautiful when you know and has seen. One of my first mentors when I was first awakening was a reflector. And she's like, I had to do this. Like, she'd be going to sleep. She's like, I think I want to do this. I think I want to do this. And the next day she's like, I've already updated my website. Everything's all done. This is good, blah, blah, blah. And it makes so much sense to them in a way that we can learn from the reflectors in a beautiful, they're literally those mirrors. They're so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. We're all needed. We're all needed. It's wild too, because her BFF is a projector and there's some kind of wild magic that happens between them at the quantum level. Isn't that really cool? Isn't that really cool? It's like this bam, 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 bam. The projectors are I forget what. Yeah, it's like the manifestors are the pharaohs, the projectors are the seers, the generators are like the ones that create the world. The man gens is a little blend of all, but the reflectors are like, this is what all of it's supposed to look like. Here is the mirror for the new world. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. And I think that, and again, I can only speak to what I've researched and what I've studied. I'm not a master in any capacity on this, but the projector is the newest energy type. And we get, 2027 is a big year for projectors, whereas we're here to really help guide the new world and do all of these different things. And so it's really fascinating to me how quickly, like 2027, Uranus, they all have connections. Like all of these things are so connected. And it's when we, study and understand our type and how we're supposed to really exist in this world, it just starts to make sense. Things just fall right into place. I had 2 3s come out, so definitely Aries energy here, Cancer energy. I think I want to say Cancer energy. I think so. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to let you two chat a little bit more. I'm going to finish up. We have 10 of Pentacles underneath it all. I always flip over the deck to say what's underneath it all. This is like an Odysseus card. And it speaks to when Odysseus came back home, he was an older man and only his dogs really recognized him. This is also the Millionaire's card. This is, no one engages with the pentacles as they do in other, in most of the other, let me find another pentacle. Oh, they don't with the six. Fascinating. Yeah. Playing with the pentacle and stuff like that. Five is fixer. Awesome. Love it. I love it. This says to me, knowing your worth and understanding what it is that you know that you're here to do, if you're aware of it. If you're not aware of it, then that's okay. What do you enjoy doing? What do you feel good doing? What fills you up? And try your best to really focus there. Try your best to really focus there. This is mutable energy, I want to say. I don't know. My brain is all over the place now, and I've pulled too many cards. I think that is all for today. It's so fun to explore. I love seeing everyone together connecting. I'm so grateful for this group. It's my absolute pleasure to be a part of this space. Do you have any other questions for me before we close off for the day? Is there anything else that I can provide going into this week? I think all we have is the sun going into Scorpio energy tomorrow, and that's really, or no, we have the sun squaring Pluto casually. But is there anything else? Let's keep having Monday coffee. That's definitely my intention. That's definitely my intention. Every Monday at 11 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. It's if you ever have questions, if you're ever in need, and please just grab a coffee and we're just going to come chit chat together. It's like I said, and with the intention of being authentic, if there ever is a day that, I don't feel as though my cup is fully full, that's okay. That's okay. But I've put on every single Monday to do a live at 11 Eastern Standard Time and to offer the space to all of you to connect. And it's a pleasure and a privilege to be a part of this group. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm sending so much love across the world to all of you, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much.